So yeah, here I am, a 34-year-old guy, sitting at my kitchen table at 3 a.m., trying to process the fact that my wife of 7 years somehow thought it would be a great idea to cheat on me with the guy we hired to make balloon animals at our son's 5th birthday party. Let me rewind a little. I thought we were good. Not perfect, but solid. We had the usual ups and downs, but nothing earth-shattering. 2 good jobs, a nice home, and our son, Liam, is our world. At least, I thought he was our world. A few months before the party, I noticed my wife, let's call her Rachel, had started acting off. She was either overly sweet or cold as ice. One minute, she's doting and affectionate. The next, she's snapping at me for breathing too loud. I chalked it up to stress. She said she was just tired. I let it go. I'd never been the paranoid type. I didn't check her phone. I didn't track her location. That's not who I am. Fast forward to Liam's birthday. She wanted to go all out this year, rented a bounce house, hired a magician, face painting, the whole 9 yards. I let her handle it. I was just the dad on grill duty. What I didn't know then was that my son's birthday would be the day everything fell apart. So here's where things went straight to hell. The party was going great. Kids running around hopped up on cake and Capri Suns, parents mingling, and the hired animator, some guy named Jason, was doing magic tricks and twisting balloons into unicorns and swords. Harmless fun, or so I thought. Rachel was everywhere and nowhere. Laughing too loud. Vanishing for long stretches. Every time I asked where she was, she brushed it off with, just making sure the drinks are stocked, or, the bounce house guy needed help with the generator. At one point, I noticed Jason was gone. So was Rachel. Again. I wasn't looking for anything. Honestly, I just wanted to know where she stashed the extra ice. I walked around the side of the house and into the den through the sliding back door. That's when I saw them. Rachel. And Jason. On the couch. His shirt off. Her blouse undone. Kissing. Hands everywhere. I froze. Time stopped. My heart slammed so hard I thought it would rip through my chest. I didn't say a word. I just stared. She screamed when she saw me. He jumped up like his ass was on fire, stammering something about how it wasn't what it looked like. Rachel's face? No shame. Just shock. Then immediately anger. She had the nerve to say, "You shouldn't have come in like that." Excuse me? I was so stunned, I just walked out. Straight back to the yard, past the oblivious kids and parents, and locked myself in the garage. I didn't want to explode in front of Liam. I didn't want to ruin his day, even though Rachel already had. After about 30 minutes in the garage, I composed myself enough to go back out and help wrap up the party. I didn't want Liam to notice anything was wrong, and thank God, he didn't. He was too busy showing off his balloon sword. Rachel didn't come near me the rest of the party. She stayed glued to other moms, laughing fake laughs and pretending nothing happened. Jason? Gone. Slipped out without a word like the coward he is. Once the guests left and Liam was upstairs with a new toy, it was time. I walked into the kitchen where she was pretending to clean. She didn't even look at me. Just muttered, "So? I guess we should talk." No apology. No remorse. Just attitude. I asked her how long it had been going on. She rolled her eyes and said, "It wasn't going on. It just happened." I told her that was bull, she clearly knew him before today. She finally admitted they'd talked a few times before the party. "It was just flirting," she said. "It didn't mean anything. You've been distant. I needed attention." "Oh, so now it's my fault?" I was working overtime for months to pay off her car and fund this stupid party. I wasn't distant. I was exhausted. For us. But she wouldn't shut up. Kept spewing garbage about how I never really see her and how she felt invisible. I asked her why she didn't talk to me, and she said, "You wouldn't have listened." Right. So cheating was easier? At some point I just stopped hearing her. It was all static. Her mouth moved, but the only thing I felt was this massive, cold emptiness in my chest. I knew, in that moment, our marriage was hanging by a thread. And it wasn't me who pulled the scissors out. That night was a blur. After the talk in the kitchen, I went upstairs to sleep in the guest room. I couldn't stand the sight of her. She followed me up, crying now. The fake kind, the ones that start as soon as they realize you're not buying their BS. She stood at the doorway, sobbing, saying I made a mistake, okay? But do you really want to destroy our family over one mistake? Yes. Because this wasn't just one mistake. It was a betrayal in our home, during our son's birthday party, while I was outside grilling hot dogs for her and her boy toy to sneak around. But she wouldn't shut up. She started gaslighting me, telling me I misinterpreted what I saw. Rachel, we were just talking. It got a little out of hand. I stopped it. You were on his lap, Rachel. Your bra was on the floor. She actually had the gall to say, well, maybe if you weren't always so cold to me, I wouldn't have needed someone to make me feel wanted. That one nearly made me lose it. I looked her dead in the eyes and said, you don't accidentally fall into the arms of a clown at your son's party. And that was the first time her tears stopped. Like a switch. She went from sobbing to rage. Screaming that I was being dramatic, that I'm a typical man, that I'm throwing our whole life away over something harmless. Harmless? I told her I needed space, and she lost it. Started accusing me of emotional abuse. Of being cold and distant for months. At this point I knew, she wasn't sorry she did it. She was sorry she got caught. I locked the door and didn't respond to anything else she yelled that night. I lay awake wondering when exactly the woman I married turned into this stranger. The morning after the fight, I woke up to Rachel acting like nothing had happened. Seriously. She was making pancakes, humming some pop song, and trying to get Liam ready for school like the whole world hadn't fallen apart 12 hours earlier. I didn't say a word. Just stared at her like I was seeing a ghost or my wife's skin. She looked up and said, "Are you really going to ice me out? In front of our son?" That was Rich. The same woman who couldn't keep her hands off another man under our roof was suddenly worried about Liam's emotional well-being. I calmly told her I was going to take Liam to school alone. She didn't fight me on it. When I came back, I started doing something I didn't think I'd ever do in my marriage. I snooped. I'm not proud of it. But after what I saw, I couldn't trust her. I checked her phone while she was in the shower. And sure enough, there it was. She had been texting Jason before the party. Flirty messages. Can't wait to see you again type stuff. One thread even had a photo she sent him in the outfit she wore for our son's birthday. Except it was unzipped. With a caption, "Think the dads will like this?" I felt sick. And then I noticed another name. Eric Tooth. A dentist. Our family dentist. The texts were suggestive. Not explicit, but it was clear something had happened there too. Maybe months ago. She even said, "Wish you were at the party instead," winky face. What the hell? Was she collecting men like Pokemon? I realized then, Jason wasn't a one-time slip-up. He was just the one I caught. I stared at that phone, numb. Wondering how many other times I'd kissed her not knowing who she'd been with. Wondering if our marriage had been a lie for longer than I wanted to admit. And worse, how long she'd have kept lying if I hadn't opened that door. After finding the texts from Jason the clown and Eric the dentist, something in me just shut down. I wasn't even angry anymore, just disgusted. Detached. Like I'd walked out of my own body and was watching this train wreck from the sidelines. I confronted her that evening. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just laid her phone on the kitchen table and asked, "How many others, Rachel?" She blinked like she'd been slapped. Her lips twitched. For a second I thought I'd finally see a shred of remorse. "Nope." She scoffed and said, "I knew you'd go through my phone. Typical. Controlling much? I think my jaw literally dropped. I asked her point blank about the dentist. Her response? Eric was just a stupid mistake. We kissed once. It didn't mean anything. Yeah? Then why are you texting him winky faces after you hooked up with Jason at our son's birthday? She started spiraling. Blamed the wine. Blamed loneliness. Blamed me for not taking her out enough and being obsessed with work. Then she flipped the script entirely, said I was being dramatic, that most women in her position would have left me years ago. Let that sink in. I walked in on her cheating and she tried to paint herself as the victim. She even said, maybe if you were more of a man, I wouldn't have to look elsewhere. That was it. That was the exact moment I felt the switch flip in my head. I said, okay. You want me to be a man? Then I'm making a man's decision. I told her I'd be filing for divorce. She froze. Like I'd slapped her this time. But I didn't wait for her reply. I went straight to the bedroom, started packing a bag, and called my brother. Told him I needed to crash for a while. Her screams followed me down the hall. Accusations. Begging. Threats. Crying. The whole spectrum. But it didn't matter anymore. She wasn't my wife at that point. Just a stranger I used to know. After moving in with my brother for a bit, things started to quiet down externally, at least. Internally? I was a mess. A walking shell, playing normal during the day, spiraling at night. My phone was lighting up non-stop. Rachel had gone full scorched earth. 1 minute she was apologizing. The next she was raging, telling me I was throwing away our family. She even had the audacity to say I'd traumatized Liam by leaving. I didn't respond. Not yet. I needed space to think. That lasted about 3 days. Then I got a call from her mom. Now, her mom and I were never close, but she always liked me. She sounded exhausted, like she had been crying for hours. She told me, I think you should know what Rachel just admitted to me, because I'm so sorry, son. Turns out, Rachel had been cheating long before Jason the clown and Eric the dentist. Apparently, she'd had something going on with an old college ex 2 years ago when she went to that girl's retreat upstate. Her mom only found out now because Rachel was drunk and crying and confessed everything. That trip was during the exact time I was planning Liam's surprise birthday party. While I was FaceTiming her to show him blowing out candles, she was getting drunk in a cabin and sleeping with someone from her past. I nearly dropped the phone. That wasn't just betrayal. That was a timeline bomb. 2 years. At least 3 men. Probably more. I didn't say much to her mom, just thanked her for telling me. Hung up. Sat on the porch for a long time. And then it hit me. How much of my marriage was real? Had she ever really loved me? Or was I just the stable option while she chased highs behind my back? The worst part? Liam. That boy thinks his mom is a saint. And I have to figure out how to navigate this storm without destroying his world. I finally texted Rachel that I wanted full custody. No more back and forth. She blew up. You can't do this. Liam needs his mother. You're punishing me for being human. No. I'm protecting my son from a mother who treats marriage like a hobby. After the emotional napalm of the last few weeks, I finally did what I'd been putting off. I got a lawyer. I told him everything, from walking in on her with Jason the clown, to the text messages, to the call from her mom about the other affair. He looked at me like this wasn't his first time hearing a story this insane, but he did say I had a strong case for full custody. I was nervous. Not because I didn't think I was the more stable parent, but because Rachel is a master manipulator when she wants to be. The fake tears. The victim act. The charm she turns on when people are watching. Our first mediation session was proof of that. She walked in looking like a grief-stricken saint. No makeup, hair tied back, cardigan like she was about to deliver casseroles to a funeral home. And of course, she started the waterworks almost immediately. He's trying to take my son away just because I made mistakes. I was lonely and overwhelmed. I didn't cheat out of malice. I stayed calm. I let my lawyer speak. And when we presented the screenshots, the texts, the picture of her and Jason in the hallway, the phone logs, the mood in the room changed fast. She lost it. Full meltdown. Started screaming about invasions of privacy, how I had set her up, and my favorite line of all. This wouldn't have happened if you were actually around. That was the moment her own lawyer leaned over and quietly tried to shush her. Even he knew she was blowing up the last bridge she had left. The mediator paused the session. Rachel stormed out. I sat there, emotionally drained, but weirdly calm. Because for once, finally, everyone saw the real her. Not the charming mom at school pickups. Not the sweet wife at dinner parties. But the selfish, manipulative person behind the curtain. It was the first time I truly felt like I was going to be okay. After the courtroom disaster, Rachel must have realized the victim mask wasn't sticking anymore, because she went quiet. Eerily quiet. No calls, no texts. Just silence. Honestly? It was peaceful. For the first time in months, I wasn't living on edge. But peace doesn't last long when you're dealing with someone like her. A few days later, I get a call from her sister, who I've always had a decent relationship with. She hesitated for a second before saying, I can't keep covering for her anymore. You deserve to know everything. My stomach dropped. Turns out, the clown, the college ex, the dentist, they were just the tip of the iceberg. Rachel had a pattern. Her sister told me she'd been having flings and secret emotional connections with men for years. One of them was a coworker at her old job. Another was someone she met at the gym. I thought she'd grow out of it when she had Liam, her sister said. But she just got sneakier. I felt sick. Not because I was surprised, but because I'd known. Deep down, I'd seen the red flags, felt the distance growing over time, the late nights, the lies about errands and catching up with friends. I just didn't want to believe the woman I married could be that cruel. It's one thing to be betrayed once. It's another to realize your entire marriage might have been a lie from the start. Later that week, I packed up what little she had left in the house, mostly crap she didn't want to move yet, and I dumped it all at her sister's place. She tried calling again that night. Left a long voicemail, crying, begging me not to destroy what's left of our family. Said she was getting help. That Liam needs both parents. Too late. You don't get to burn down the house and then ask if we can still have dinner inside it. It's been 5 months since I dropped off the last of Rachel's things and closed the chapter of my life. The divorce was finalized last week. I got primary custody of Liam. She gets supervised visitation twice a month. Even the judge seemed disgusted by her behavior, not just the cheating, but the lies, the gaslighting, the recklessness around our kid. Funny enough, I thought the day I signed those papers would feel like an ending. But it wasn't. It was a beginning. Liam is doing better. He's still confused, still asks questions sometimes, but kids are resilient. I've started therapy, something I never thought I'd do, and it's been helping me untangle a lot of the emotional knots I didn't even know I had. As for Rachel? She moved in with Jason the party clown for a bit. That didn't last long. Apparently, being fun with balloon animals doesn't make you relationship material. She's bouncing from couch to couch now, trying to find herself. Maybe she'll succeed. Maybe not. I'm done caring. So, what did I learn? Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't ignore red flags just because you love someone. Love isn't supposed to feel like walking through a minefield. Protect your peace. No partner, no relationship, is worth sacrificing your mental health and your dignity. Your kid watches everything. How you handle betrayal, pain, and recovery, it all becomes part of what they learn about love and strength. I'm not bitter. Not anymore. I was. I was furious, broken, humiliated. But those feelings don't own me now. I've got a second chance at a peaceful, honest life, and that's something she'll never be able to take from me again. Thanks for reading, and thanks to everyone who supported me through this hellstorm. Reddit strangers have felt more like family than the one I was married into. Stay strong out there. And remember, clowns belong at parties, not in your marriage.